Welcome to Core Concept HQ, where big ideas are simplified.
And today, we are giving you the ultimate shortcut to understanding the mechanics of, well, world-class personal performance.
That's right. We've gathered sources drawn from a legendary mentor known simply as the Spellbinder and his high-achieving mentee, this eccentric billionaire, Stone Riley.
And together, they provide a blueprint for, really, a kind of radical self-improvement.
We are diving deep into the mindset and the methodology you need to shift from, playing small to becoming what the source material calls a history maker. And the focus is simple on the surface, but it's incredibly demanding. We're talking about personal discipline, extreme productivity, and the powerful alchemy of leveraging those early morning hours.
Right. If you, our listener, want a shortcut to being well-informed on how the highest achievers gain knowledge quickly and consistently,
And how they execute at such a profound level.
exactly, then this deep dive provides that foundational philosophy and the precise tactics they use to reclaim their time, their potential.
And their focus. Especially now, in an age that's just saturated with constant demanding distraction.
It really is.
And the central promise that comes from this entire philosophy is a mantra we are going to unpack over the next, 30 to 40 minutes or so.
It's a simple one.
Own your morning. Elevate your life. That's the driving force behind this whole 5 a.m. formula.
Our journey today is really structured to take you from philosophy all the way to application. First, we're going to unpack the huge mental and emotional shifts that are required, what they call the 4 interior empires.
Okay, so mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set.
That's them. Then we'll move directly into the tactical precision of the morning routine itself, the 20-20-20 formula.
And finally, we'll get into the advanced high-leverage productivity tactics, things like the 90901 rule and the 60-10 method.
Right, the things that translate those powerful inner intentions into sustained world-class results.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's unpack this call to legendary living. Because the sources don't start with an alarm clock, do they? They start with a vision.
Not at all. The core idea is that life is simply too short to play small with your talents.
And the Skullbinder was pretty unequivocal on this. He believed we are all inherently built to achieve masterwork-level projects.
And constructed to be a force for good. This isn't just some fluffy motivation. It's a core belief that if you aren't aiming for the absolute maximum expression of your potential,
You're actually doing yourself and the world a disservice.
you are. And what immediately separates the so-called history makers from the majority is a willingness to invest fiercely in a better self.
Instead of just endlessly accumulating external things.
Right. It's renouncing that common delusion that, the person who gets the most cars, the fanciest shoes, or the biggest house is the one who wins.
The sources really emphasize that the great men and women of the world, the ones who truly left a mark, were fundamentally givers, not takers.
And that requires a really profound shift away from self-centeredness. The giving here isn't just about charity, though that can be part of it.
No, it's about giving the world heroic work. Work that staggers your marketplace because it's so original, so helpful, and just uncompromising in its quality.
You give value first. It makes perfect sense. If you focus on maximizing your output and your value, your gift, the extended rewards will naturally follow.
But what about the friction, the psychological pushback? I mean, most people resist that level of commitment.
And that resistance is exactly where the Spellbinder focuses his teaching. What's so fascinating is how they reframe the whole idea of a challenge.
The mindset shift.
Yes, Stone Riley insists limitation is nothing more than a mentality that too many good people practice daily until they believe it's reality.
So the belief system of these world-class performers revolves around this idea that world-class begins where your comfort zone ends.
It's a complete rejection of the easy path. And this is where that philosophy of discipline really takes hold.
Well, if achieving an amazing life was comfortable or easy, everyone would be doing it right.
Exactly. The sources suggest that hard is good. The suffering, that productive, focused discomfort that happens on the journey of mastering your potential is actually a major source of human satisfaction.
You earn the reward because you invested what they call that effortful audacity.
Think about the kind of dedication they cite in the source material. Real greatness demands fierce, almost shocking dedication.
Like the jazz legend Miles Davis. He stretched himself ferociously past the known limits of his field, practicing for hours, innovating even when his audience didn't get it.
Or Michelangelo sacrificing enormously, mentally, emotionally, physically, to produce his art. I mean, sleeping in his clothes while painting the Sistine Chapel.
The example that really stood out to me, though, was Charles Darwin.
Yeah.
His name is just synonymous with genius. Yet the source material highlights his immense painstaking focus. He spent 8 long years studying barnacles.
Barnacles of all things.
8 years. Just to fully formulate and demonstrate the theory of evolution, that kind of sustained monomaniacal focus is what real virtuosity demands.
It's such a crucial lesson. That kind of devotion would be labeled as crazy by our modern world, which is so addicted to instant gratification.
And spending our irreplaceable lifetime watching endless streams of online content.
Precisely. The common thread in all these history makers isn't some innate talent, it's the ability to protect and leverage highly concentrated time.
Which brings us directly to the tactical concept designed to provide that time, the power of the victory hour. Why 5 a.m. specifically? They call it the antidote to average.
Stone Riley describes 5 a.m. as the time of least distraction, highest human glory, and greatest peace. It's more than just poetic, though. There is a tangible scientific advantage baked into these early hours.
Okay, you mentioned science. Walk us through what's happening in the brain that makes 5 a.m. so uniquely valuable, beyond just, the quiet.
Absolutely. This is where we get into the neuroscience insight of something called transient hypofrontality.
Okay, that's a mouthful. Let's break that down.
It means exactly what it sounds like. Transient means temporary. Hypo means reduction. And frontality refers to the prefrontal cortex.
So the prefrontal cortex, that's the part of the brain that handles rational thinking, planning, but also all the constant worrying and self-criticism.
Precisely. And when you're up early, away from the noise, the email alerts, all the external stimulation, that overly analytical, ruminating part of your brain actually shuts off.
Or at least quiets down significantly.
It does, for a brief, beautiful window.
That sounds like an absolute gift. The constant internal critic finally takes a nap.
Exactly. And this quietude allows your brain waves to shift from the typical beta state, which is associated with stress and high alertness, to the slower alpha and sometimes even theta states.
Which are powerfully associated with the flow state, right? Intuitive problem solving, deep creativity.
Yes. And there's a neurochemical advantage that comes with it.
Okay.
This stillness triggers the natural production of critical neurotransmitters, specifically dopamine, which is the inspiration fuel for motivation, and serotonin, which is the brain's natural pleasure drug, promoting well-being and satisfaction.
So here is the key practical application for you, the listener. This brief, beautiful, neurochemically optimized window is the ideal time to focus your concentration for long, uninterrupted periods on your highest value work.
You're essentially preloading your day with focus and calm before the world starts demanding your attention.
And before cortisol, that fear and stress hormone spikes too high and makes clear thinking more difficult.
Now that we understand the when and the why, we can turn to the what to work on. The Spellbinder teaches that before you can realize external empires.
Like productivity, prosperity, influence.
Right. Before any of that, you have to fundamentally develop your inner empires. The core philosophy here is unshakable. The external always expresses the internal.
So if you're seeing stagnation or weak results on the outside, the solution isn't just to work harder externally, it's to cultivate and train your interior life first.
And those 4 central inner arenas to train during that 5 a.m. victory hour are mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set.
Okay, let's start with E1, mindset, or psychology.
This is your belief system, your deeply held assumptions, your self-identity. The sources are crystal clear on this. Your daily behavior is always a function of your deepest beliefs.
If you believe you're ordinary, you'll behave in an ordinary way. You won't even attempt the hard work needed for legendary results.
Which is where that concept of capitalization IQ comes in. And I think this is a massive takeaway for everyone listening.
It's not the raw talent you're born with, the IQ, but the extent of that potential you actually use, how much you capitalize on it.
Precisely. Most people have this immense ocean of uncapitalized potential. The sources show countless examples where sustained dedication and discipline just overwhelmingly beat mere brilliance every single day.
Talent without discipline is a wasted opportunity.
And that's critical because the average person is often running a self-limiting psychological program. If your internal story is, I'm not good enough to do X, your actions will subtly align with that belief.
And you fulfill your own prophecy.
Exactly. Leaders, on the other hand, they never negotiate their standards. They constantly remind themselves of their capacity for excellence. They replace that negative self-talk with high-fidelity mental models.
You see that in the Picasso story they mentioned. His mother predicted he'd become a general or a pope,
Right.
setting this incredibly high external standard.
Right.
He chose to be a painter, and as he said, he became Picasso. It shows this absolute faith in his own self-defined potential. He created his identity, then his actions just reflected it.
So moving on to E2, heart set or emotionality. This is where things get really personal. The Spellbinder says a strong mindset is only 25% of the personal mastery equation.
Only a quarter of it.
Just a quarter. You need a winning heart set for long-term sustainability, specifically to clear out the dark and toxic emotion from past pains.
So all the resentments, disappointments, betrayals that just inevitably build up over a lifetime.
They weigh you down. You can have all the right beliefs, but if you're carrying around old grudges, your energy is just sapped.
So what's the recommended practice to fortify your heart set?
A daily, non-negotiable gratitude practice during the morning routine. This isn't just about feeling good, it's a powerful emotional amplifier.
It fuels exuberance, as they say.
And it actively counteracts the brain's natural negativity bias, which is constantly looking for threats or focusing on where you're falling short.
Which explains why comparison is so destructive.
It is. Our ancient brain evolved to keep us safe. It's constantly scanning for things that are wrong. In the modern world, that translates into social anxiety, comparison.
Always focusing on what you lack, even when you have so much. That Theodore Roosevelt quote they use really hits home. Comparison is the thief of joy.
So true. Next up is E3, health set or physicality. This is about physical vitality, fitness, and energy. The source material is adamant that your best ideas often come when you are moving or relaxed, not chained to a desk.
There's a direct link between physical vigor and mental sharpness.
And from a biological standpoint, fortifying your health set is crucial, because HGH, human growth hormone, is maximized by intense exercise and quality sleep.
And HGH is essential for moods, cognition, energy, longevity, basically everything.
Right. And regular, intense movement maintains the discipline required for all the other areas. If you can discipline your body to do hard things, your mind will follow.
Okay, so finally we have E4, soul set or spirituality.
This is the deepest arena. Your connection to your core purpose, your spiritual center, your true self. It's often the most neglected in the chase for external validation.
So things like net worth or popularity on social media.
All of it. Now, you asked earlier how this is different from mindset.
Right. Isn't a great purpose part of a strong belief system?
That's a great question. Mindset deals with what you believe you can achieve. It's tactical. Soul set deals with who you fundamentally are and why you are here. It's philosophical.
I see. So mindset is trained with affirmations and thinking patterns.
While soul set is fed by silence, solitude, and stillness.
So that quiet reflection allows you to differentiate between the cultural noise, chasing status symbols, and listening to your own inner wisdom.
And the power of solitude is so important here. The sources say a flight from solitude is really an escape from freedom.
Wow.
If you are constantly filled with noise and distraction, you can't hear that essential internal voice, the whisper of your great genius. Solitude is where you receive those disruptive, visionary insights.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork, the philosophy, the 4 inner empires. Now let's get to the crucial how.
It's not just about setting an alarm for 5 a.m.
No, it's what you do in that 60 minutes right after the victory hour that generates that massive, almost unfair edge.
And this is the 20-20-20 formula.
A meticulously calibrated routine designed to optimize those 4 interior empires at the same time through 3 distinct 20-minute pockets. And it starts immediately, 5:00 a.m. on the dot.
Pocket 1. 5:00 a.m. to 5:20 a.m. Move. This is intense exercise. Not a gentle stroll. We're talking jump rope, running in place, high-intensity push-ups. Anything that makes you sweat profusely within minutes. And the rationale here is deeply rooted in your biochemistry.
First, it generates energy that lasts for hours.
But more importantly, it immediately lowers your cortisol levels.
Right. We said cortisol, the stress hormone, is naturally highest in the morning.
So by immediately jumping into intense exercise, you burn off that excess cortisol. It suppresses the stress response, makes you calmer, less reactive, and mentally resilient right from the start of your day.
It kickstarts HGH production and speeds up your brain's processing power. You get a clear, calm mind ready for deep focus.
And for the listener, the source material offers a brilliant, simple tip to eliminate friction here. Pre-commitment.
Lay out your exercise gear next to your bed the night before.
It completely simplifies the decision when your willpower is at its lowest at 5 a.m. You remove the excuse, the only choice left is action.
Okay, on to pocket 2, 5:00 a.m. to 5:40 a.m. Reflect. Journaling and planning. The goal here is inner serenity.
Right. You stay silent, you reflect, you journal, you plan, you set priorities. This is a powerful shift from the physical to the emotional and mental.
And reflecting on your priorities creates what they call residual wisdom that infuses the rest of your day.
It moves you out of that constant reactive cycle of just doing what everyone else demands of you.
And journaling specifically seems to be a huge tool in this pocket.
It's a tool for deep deconstruction. It multiplies clarity because you have to articulate vague fears or ideas. It activates deliberate gratitude, which fortifies your heart set.
It also lets you process low-energy emotions, acting like an emotional pressure valve.
Exactly. But we need to emphasize the tactical side of this, the planning. The Daily 5 concept is a great example.
Okay, what is that?
You list 5 tiny, high-leverage targets you want to accomplish that day. These are micro wins.
Why tiny?
Because achieving them consistently builds confidence and momentum. If you hit 5 small, high-value targets every day,
That adds up.
it adds up to 1,825 high-value targets accomplished in a year. It's incremental evolution, not unsustainable revolution.
Okay, and finally, pocket 3, 5:40 a.m. to 6:00 a.m. Grow. Learning and review.
This is 20 minutes purely for advancing your professional prowess and personal knowledge.
So listening to educational audiobooks, deep dive discussions like this one, reviewing your goals, studying something related to your craft.
The rationale is simple. Investing in your own education yields the highest return.
This reminds me of the concept of traffic university.
Think about it. If your commute is 60 minutes a day over a lifetime, that adds up to over 3 years spent in transit.
So if you use that time and this 20-minute pocket to consume valuable, knowledge-based content instead of just superficial chatter or toxic news.
You turn wasted time into massive personal growth. It's about the disciplined application of learning every single day, right before your workday officially begins.
All right, so once the victory hour is done and your inner empires are calibrated, the next step is to apply that same iron discipline to the workday itself.
This is where we shift from morning mastery to the elite performance tactics that separate the professionals from the amateurs.
And the key differentiator seems to be this idea of rigor and granularity.
Right. The average performer operates by rushing, by mailing it in, delivering work that's just good enough.
But exceptionalists understand their work is their reputation. The quality of their output is inseparable from their identity.
And Stone Riley's Formula One racing example illustrates this so perfectly.
Remind us of that one.
He explained that the F1 pit crew cleans the pit area not just with a broom, but with an industrial vacuum.
Total overkill, you'd think.
But when asked why, they said if even a single molecule of sediment got into the race car's engine, it could cost a win. Or even a life.
Wow. And that translates immediately to our digital work. That obsessive attention to minor details is what defines mastery.
It's a reminder that a single typo in an important presentation, one missed checklist item by a distracted team member, can create a catastrophe.
And this focus on perfection is connected directly to self-respect. The Spellbinder teaches that the grade of work you offer reflects the strength of respect you have for yourself.
If your work is sloppy, you're basically saying you don't value your own effort. So how do we maintain that surgical focus in an age where distraction is the default?
This is where the advanced productivity tactics come in. The first, and maybe the most rigorous, is the 90901 rule.
The insight here is simple. Doing real deep work, what they call master work, versus just artificial busy work daily and consistently, gives you that massive competitive edge.
And the implementation is brutally strict. For the next 90 days, you invest the first 90 minutes of your workday on the one activity that, if you do it at a world-class level, will cause you to own your field.
And that 90 minutes has to be dedicated to your single highest leverage priority. No exceptions.
So if you're a writer, it's writing. If you're a programmer, it's coding the core product.
And this time has to be what they call a tight bubble of total focus. No noise, no interruptions. The recommendation is to put your devices in a bag and leave that bag in another room entirely.
But what about the friction there? For a listener, in a modern open-plan office or with kids at home, finding 90 uninterrupted minutes after 6 a.m. seems almost impossible.
The sources acknowledge the difficulty, but they insist on the necessity of the tight bubble. If you can't find that time at the office, you have to schedule it before you arrive.
Which is why that 5 a.m. start is so critical.
It is. The key is protecting the neurological state of flow. If you let one notification break that state, it can take 20 minutes to get back to peak concentration. It just destroys the whole window.
So the goal isn't just to be busy for 90 minutes. It's to achieve a monomaniacal focus on the one thing that truly matters.
Exactly. The 9-0-901 rule forces that singular focus every day for 3 months straight. I mean, imagine the exponential progress that generates.
Okay, the second powerful tactic is the 60-10 method. This is about applying oscillation working like a sprinter, not a marathoner, throughout the rest of the day.
Research strongly supports this. The greatest performers don't work in a linear, nonstop way. That just leads to diminishing returns and burnout.
Instead, they alternate these high-intensity bursts of deep focus with periods of real rest and full recovery.
The implementation is simple, but it does require discipline. You work at peak intensity for 60 minutes straight in your tight bubble of total focus.
And then you immediately follow that with 10 minutes of complete deliberate recovery.
And that 10 minutes is not for checking social media or email. It's for true recovery.
Yeah.
A walk, a brief meditation, listening to music, just staring out a window.
And this isn't laziness. It's a physiological necessity. This ties into that concept of supercompensation.
That's right. Think of it like lifting weights. The muscle doesn't grow when you lift. It grows when you rest and repair. Your brain works the same way.
You push past your limits for 60 minutes, then recover fully for 10, and your systems surge back stronger.
You have to consciously refuel your assets, mental focus, physical energy, willpower, original talent, to ensure you can sustain this over the long haul.
We've covered the morning philosophy, the inner empires, and daytime tactics. But to preserve your A-game over a lifetime,
You have to manage not just the first hour of the day, but the last hour of the night.
the nightly routine,
It's mission essential. High-quality sleep is non-negotiable. It's when your brain does its crucial washing process, clearing out metabolic waste, and it's when HGH production is optimized.
and the Spellbinder deconstructed this into a pretty strict 3-hour pre-sleep ritual.
Right, from 7:00 p.m. to 8:00 p.m., that's your last meal of the day. More importantly, all devices are turned off, especially blue light emitting screens. This is isolation from overstimulation.
Then from 8:00 p.m. to 9:00 p.m., this hour is for enriching activities, real conversations with loved ones, reading physical books, engaging in a hobby.
This hour is about fueling your soul and your relationships, not your portfolio.
And finally, 9:00 p.m. to 10:00 p.m. is strict preparation for sleep.
Creating a cool, dark, tech-free bedroom. Organizing your exercise gear for the 5 a.m. start.
Which reinforces pocket one of the 20-20-20.
And conducting a final evening gratitude practice.
That detail about laying out the 5 a.m. close, it's about conserving willpower. Automating these basic choices prevents decision fatigue and saves your mental energy for what really matters the next morning. It's preemptive discipline.
And this focus on preparation and recovery is part of a larger framework, the twin cycles of elite performance.
The goal is long-term sustainability by alternating high excellence cycles of intense work with deep refueling cycles.
Exactly. You have to actively cycle intense work with blocks of time for refueling, relaxing, and pure fun. Fun is actually described as a potent form of recovery.
Like Einstein sailing or Steve Wozniak playing polo. Time away from work isn't a waste. It's necessary space for the incubation of world-changing ideas.
Now, we do have to acknowledge the high bar set by Stone Riley taking 3 months off a year. For our listener who can't do that, what's the minimum?
That is a vital distinction.
Riley's example illustrates the philosophy, but the tactical guidance is much more accessible. You must take at least 2 full days off each week. The source calls them zero-device days.
So the lesson is scalable. The concept is to dedicate non-negotiable time for true mental freedom, free from the demands of work or digital noise.
And the ultimate goal is to balance business victory with a joyful heart. The core philosophy teaches, winning without enjoying is nothing.
True freedom comes when you realize you own your things, but they don't own you.
Right. Because what's the point of spending your best mornings climbing mountains that you realize were the wrong ones when you were frail and wrinkled?
It's a powerful thought.
It is. And the final message is one of transformation and profound self-belief. You have neuroplasticity. Your brain can grow and build new neural pathways throughout your life, much like a muscle.
Like the example of the London cab drivers whose brains physically changed from navigating the city. It shows your brain can be strengthened and sculpted if you choose to exercise it aggressively.
Discipline and bravery aren't gifts. They are voluntary, trainable practices. The key is to consistently push yourself to do demanding things. The moment when you must find the will to press ahead, that's when you build a will of iron.
It reminds me of those words from Seneca, which really encapsulate the urgency of this whole deep dive. You squander time as if you drew from a full and abundant supply.
The biggest betrayal in life is not outright failure. It's the pain of unexpressed potential. You have the ability and the methodology to make your leap starting tomorrow.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget, at Core Concept HQ, we simplify powerful ideas to help you live smarter. See you in the next summary.